Hey, welcome to my channel. Well, it is what it is. I mean, I think I said it in my couple of videos in the past. I said before the Brewers series, my fear was if the Mets don't get one win out of this Brewers series and they get swept, this is not going to bode well for the Mets. I mean, honestly, to the point where, like, they're not going to do anything. I don't think they're going to get far in the playoffs, and it looks like it is because, like, you're 5-0, bottom of the fourth coming up. Manea can't get past the fourth inning. That's the sad part about it. Everyone thinks Manea was great last year. I think it was a fluke, and it looks like it's turning out to be a fluke. I'll be honest, Manea was a fluke because after he made that adjustment first time around, hitters were not aware what to take of it, basically. And I think they knew how to adjust at that point. Because what my fear was, when the Mets re-signed him, look what happens. It's now the hitters are able to figure him out, and basically he's reverting to what he was back when he was with the Giants. Not that great, and with a high ERA, and that's the case in this situation. And he can't even get that far. I mean, granted, yeah, the injury probably hasn't helped him much, but let's be honest. And the bullpen was doing decent enough. At least they kept it in. They kept him in the game for a bit, but it was just a wasted effort. Like two games where the Mets homered, had a lot of, quite a lot number of hits, but defense is what plays a factor into this. And it turned out this is not boding well for the Mets. I mean, honestly, the Reds are doing really well. I don't know if the Mets make the playoffs. That's the problem. If the Mets keep playing the way they are, they might not be able to make the playoffs because they're in, like the last wild card spot, and like the Reds are like a game and a half or 2 games behind now. And like, honestly, if the Reds keep playing the way they were playing, the Mets are not going to make the playoffs. And if they don't make the playoffs, I have no idea what's going to happen at that point. That's the sad part about it. But I honestly don't know what to say. Honestly, not sure what to say do at this point because I don't know how you correct it. The only thing I can think of is you got to bring up Mitch Sprout and McLean. I hate to say it, but you have to bring them up. The Mets pitchers are not lasting. Maybe these two guys can last and probably inject some life into the Mets because nothing's working. Bottom of the order is not really doing so well either. I mean, Mullins finally hit a home run. He's starting to come into his own, but still not enough. This, I'm not sure what to say. Honestly, I don't know what to say or what to do. Uh, yeah, I have a feeling this is a case where, like, the Mets, everyone was banking on the fact that the Mets, after they got Soto, signing Holmes, signing Montas, maybe this might help out, but it doesn't look like it. I honestly think that the Mets are probably gonna not make. Like I said, I'm hoping the Mets can make the playoffs, but maybe not. Who knows? If they keep playing the way they're playing again, and if Minea and Senga keep pitching the way they are, as well as Holmes and Montas, they're not making the playoffs. They're not making the wild card. I mean, I think they're 2 games behind now, 2 games above, ahead of the Reds. Um, Even if they make the playoffs by some miracle, it's only because of the first 2 months of the season. That's the reason why they're going to make it. It'll be pure luck, and in this situation, they're not getting far. They're not going to get far. I had a fear that this was what was going to happen after they signed Soto and they re-signed Alonso. I was like, all right, they got the offense back in place, and their bullpen was strengthened. But the problem is they have no dominant first starting pitcher. They have no number one pitcher or number two pitcher for that matter. And you could say Senga, you could say Manea, but they have yet to prove it. They've yet to prove it. Senga did not prove it in the October playoffs last year. Manea, a little bit. But again, I'm saying this right now. I think Manea was a fluke last year because when he made an adjustment for his pitches, the hitters were not aware. They didn't adjust. Now I think because the full season's gone by, I think they've adjusted to him. They're able to hit him, and he's reverting back to what he was when he was with the Giants. I mean, high ERA pitcher, and he's not even lasting that long. He's not getting past the fourth inning. That's the sad part. I hate to say this, but maybe Manea and Holmes become long relievers. That's pretty much what it looks like. It's going to have to be like they can last at least 3 to 4 innings. If they can do, go scoreless for 3 to 4 innings, I think that might be doable for them at this point. Same thing with Senga. That's the same thing with him too as well. Like he can't get past the fourth inning, and like it's more so a case of like He'll hold them scoreless or low runs, and then all of a sudden, like that one inning, that's it. Um, and it's a case where in this situation there were mistakes, and again, the Brewers capitalized. And I hate to say this, but the Mets are not going to beat the Brewers. If they face them in the playoffs, they're not going to beat the Brewers. They're not going to get past them. If they can't get past the Brewers, they're not getting past the Phillies. They're definitely not getting past the Dodgers or the Padres for that matter. So it's a sad state, but that's what it is. I honestly don't know what to do. Like I said, the only thing I can think of, the Mets have to bring up McLean and Sprout, both of them. I hate to say it, but they have to bring up both of them, promote them to the majors, because I think they might be the one. I prefer they not to, because I'd rather see them the next season, 2026 season. But if the Mets have any hope of making the playoffs this year, promote them. Hopefully they inject some life to the Mets, to the rest of the roster, that they go on a winning streak and maybe get back into first place. But I hate to say this, but this is, as I said, the fact that my fear was the Mets were going to get swept by the Brewers, which turned out to be the case. It's not going to bode well for them. I'm not sure what else to say or do about this point, because, like I said, again, I'm going to say it again. I'm keep going to say it again. Senga and Manaea are not number 1 and 2 starters. They're not. Senga's at best maybe a back of the rotation. Manaea now, I think, is at best a reliever, bullpen guy type of guy. That's all he is. I think that's what it's turning out to be. Same thing with Holmes. I think they promoted Holmes too quickly to the starting rotation. He's probably got to go back into the bullpen. Montez, that's a bust. Peterson, I think, is the only decent one out there, but he's still, again, a middle or the back of the rotation type of guy. Do they have anyone else out there? No. And there's nothing they could do this year. I mean, the trading deadline's gone. That's it. The best bet that the Mets can do is hopefully Miguel comes back, be your number 3 starter. But if Sprout and McLean could come up and be those pitchers of what they're showing in the minors, maybe they become so dominant that they do well for the Mets, that the Mets advance farther than normal. And the other factors, I hate to say this, but maybe the Mets bring JD Martinez back, but not as a hitter, but more as an advisor or at least a hitting coach, because it's a case where the hitting's getting back to what it was, but you could see that they're forcing themselves a little bit. They are forcing themselves. They're not having as much fun as they used to. Again, when they were winning, they were having fun. When they were losing, Soto can only put so much on himself, basically. And the fact that Alonso is okay, doing well as well too, but the fact is Lindor is putting too much on himself. You could see it. Lindor is taking too much, putting too much on himself, that he's trying to swing for the fences. I think he just needs to get on base, and I think once he gets on base and when he starts hitting again, everything will fall into place at that, because Lindor is the linchpin of this offense. If Lindor hits and gets on base and does well, I think the rest of the Mets batting lineup basically falls in place as well too. With the pitching, the bullpen is doing decent. I mean, granted, Diaz gave up the home run, but not much you can do, because he went an inning extra basically. The bullpen was doing really decent enough. They were holding, honestly, if the Mets were leading by 2, they probably would have won this game. But it's not what I expected it to be. But I did expect the Mets to get swept. I did expect them to get swept. If you see my videos prior, you show that before even the series began, I said if the Mets get swept, they're not going to go far in the playoffs. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm praying that the Mets prove me wrong, but the way they are right now, it's not going to bode well for them. And I hate to say this, but maybe Mendoza might not be the coach or the manager. Maybe Mendoza might not be the manager. As good as he was last year, it seems like he's not making adjustments himself. He called out his hitting coaches and the hitters for not making adjustments. Maybe he should have made adjustments as well too. I mean, if you see players not doing well, sit them. Mess with the rotation a little bit. Maybe muck around with the rotation a little bit as well too. When I mean the rotation, I mean the lineup. Muck around with the lineup. Instead of having Lindor hitting 1, maybe having him hitting 5. Put Nimmo at the number 1 spot. Put maybe Marte as the number 2 spot. Put Soto as the number 3 or number 7 spot. I don't know. Mess with it. Do something. But this lineup is not going to do much until they start hitting again. And for that to happen is Lindor has to start hitting. And for Lindor to start hitting, you've got to take the pressure off him. He's putting too much pressure on himself at this point. Um, I don't know what else to say at that point. Honestly, this is where we're at, and only time will tell. We're in the middle of August. They got between now to the end of August to get at least muster up some wins. But right now at this point, I don't think that's going to be the case. So sorry to say, but I'm being a realist at this point. I don't see the Mets getting far. If they make the playoffs, I don't see them getting far. They're not getting past the first round. If they make the playoffs, the way the Reds are playing right now, the Reds are doing. The Reds are probably going to get that last wild card spot if they're playing the way they're playing right now. And I'm not taking anything away from the Giants as well too, because the Giants were surprised that earlier this year they started going downhill a little bit, but you're only a winning streak away from getting back into things, into the mix of things. And the Cardinals are doing really decent as well too. So I don't know. I hate to say it, but I don't think the Mets make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to make the wild card. It's a sad state, but that's what's going to happen. I don't think the Mets are making the wild card if they keep playing the way they are. And Lindor, again, is the linchpin. Like I've been saying, it seems like Lindor is the linchpin to this offense. He's the key. Once he starts hitting, I think everyone else falls in suit. Falls in place at that point. But that's pretty much what I can say. I mean, outside of that, I can't say much. I know I'm live right now. If anyone's sending in chat, unfortunately, I don't see it because I'm using OBS. Something's going on with OBS. I should have went directly to the thing, but in any case, if there is a chat, you can put it up there again on when it becomes a permanent video at that point. But with that,